Okay, and some lessons for running a good online survey through SurveyMonkey or through one of the other plethora of online tools that you can run surveys through. Make sure that you have clear, concise questions. Don't be aloof. Get to what you want to know. People don't want to guess, and they will get tired quickly if they don't understand your questions. They'll close the thing and not give you any data. You want to be clear, concise, as simple as possible. You want to be a little bit careful about biasing people's answers. People in surveys will often tell you what they think you want to hear. So in essence, if you're saying, is sustainability good? People of course will say yes, sustainability is good. Of course, sustainability is good. So you want to be very clear in terms of you want to get to a level of how good sustainability is versus price or whatever. You don't want to bias people's answers and have them giving you all the same answer across the board that will tell you nothing. Keeping in mind that concise thing, each question has one purpose. What one piece of information are you looking to get in that question? You want to vary up the question format so that some of them are, what do you think of this? The others are, rate your level of that. How much would you XYZ? Keep it simple, 3 to 5 minutes, one page, and you will maximize your chance of conversion. If you invite 500 people to do a survey, maybe 10% will actually show up to do it. If you make the survey really difficult, 1% will actually finish the survey. If you make the survey extremely easy, maybe 50% of those people will do the survey. If you can provide an incentive, that's great. If that also basically means that you're doing some marketing to these folks, fantastic. Give them a gift certificate to your business or a future, again, cup of free coffee or whatever it is. Get them a little bit engaged and give them a little thank you, and they'll appreciate it. It's their time. You want to respect their time. At a slightly higher level, you can get into a little bit more market research around focus groups. So there's a lot more touch involved with this. So if you sit down around a table with a group of people and start asking them detailed questions about things, you'll learn a heck of a lot more than you will in an online survey when the person sits down to their desk at 8 o'clock at night after a hard day of work and their kids are bugging them for dinner and they're, the TV is on and they have a magazine open and the phone is ringing. You'll get a lot better data if you get somebody's focused, undivided attention. So this is what we mean by higher touch. You're just likely to get much better responses. This, of course, costs more. This, of course, requires you to do more. This, of course, requires a little bit more expertise and some training. There is a way to do this by paying for it and just getting a moderator to run your focus group. This eliminates the possibility that you're going to bias everybody's every single question and every single answer just by your sheer presence. If people know that you're the person who runs this particular business and they like your business and they are aligned with your mission, they're going to try and help you, and sometimes that's not helpful in a focus group because you're not going to be learning things. And in addition, of course, if you run the thing sort of in a disorganized fashion, you'll learn a lot less than if you run it in a very professional fashion. So you can either learn to run it much more professionally, and you can certainly do a Google search and say, how do I run a good focus group, and you'll get some good tips. Or you can hire a moderator. You can hire a moderator through a variety of online directories. We just listed one here. It's called greenbook.org. But you can find people who have gone through classes and have run focus groups before and have the experience of doing it and are qualified to do it. And you'll probably get better detail and data out of that. But here are some tips, just in case you do want to run one. So if you want to set up and conduct your focus group, keep it small. 5 to 10 people is totally fine. You do want to have it representative of your target market. You don't want to have all one demographic. You don't want to have all women, all men. You don't want to have any one particular race. You don't want to have, you want to try and really kind of showcase what your target market is going to be over time. Provide something, free lunch. It gets people to show up anytime. People say there's no such thing as a free lunch, but give them a free lunch and then ask them a bunch of questions. It's still not really a free lunch for them, but they're not working that hard for it. if you have a concept, if you have a product, if you're in that really fun phase of sort of product testing and development, present them to it. Present it to them. Sorry, sorry. Present it to them and say, here's what we've got. If you're interested in how we might use this, here's how we might use it. Would you use this at home? Would you use this with your kids? What additional things should I add to it? Any other extra bells and whistles, or should I simplify it? This is good product testing. Request some feedback with the same format as the online survey that we talked about before. Really targeted. What's the price you would pay for something like this? What is how do you want the interaction to go between you and this product? Do you have a suggestion or an improvement around this facet of the product? Get to very specific types of information. Okay, and in the document that we sent you, that you got when you registered for this class, Exhibit 7 has some strategies for directing your focus group. There's do's and don'ts here. The main do's are to do all those things I've just been talking about, asking very specific questions, allowing for individuals to talk and give you feedback, and giving them the time that they need. The don'ts are typically, don't let anybody dominate the conversation, because then everybody's also opinion gets drowned out or overwhelmed. Push for deep answers, push for real data, and basically respect everybody's time. But you can take a look at that in the document, the needs assessment document. It's just Exhibit 7, so you can look at it on your own time. Great, so the next level of market research is getting a little bit more into in-depth market research, and we go into this with one-on-one interviews. So one-on-one interviews give you a real chance to delve into one person's mind and really get to the answers that they can give you, and the answers that they can give you may be extremely valuable. They may not, but they may be extremely valuable, and they may be extremely insightful. So these are worth doing. You want to build, again, as this gets more expensive and more time intensive on your part, you want to have most of those questions, preliminary questions that you set out at the beginning, kind of answered. And you want to just build from there. You want to build on the takeaways from that and find the next level of data, the next level of information. So you can find participants through your network, online, people who are already talking about the product. Remember that person Rachel before that we saw on Yelp. If they live in your neighborhood, ask them if you can take them out for a cup of coffee. You'll buy their favorite soy latte at their favorite place, and you just want to find out what it is that they love about that and how you can replicate it at your place. What do they love about that coffee shop? Is it the decor? Is it the people? Who's working there? Get into those kinds of issues. Give each respondent a chance to freeform. This is extremely important, because no matter how good your questions were coming into this market research exercise, there are things that you haven't thought of. Even if you hire it out, even if you talk to a bunch of colleagues and peers and try and get them to give you what they think you need to find out, there will always be stuff that you don't know. That's the biggest takeaway from today's class, if there is one that I want you to go away with. Be open. Learn from these people. They are your customers. So give them a chance to freeform. Okay, and again, in the document, in Appendix 2, there's a whole guide onto how to set up your interviews. It's a step-by-step, very straightforward process in terms of how you set it up, how you interact with the people, how you should perform, what you should say, what you shouldn't say going into it, and just some other general good practice sort of habits that you can use. Okay, and we'll glance over this a little bit, because this is not something that's super popular for startups or for small businesses, but you can definitely do some much bigger trend research in market research to find much better broad brush sort of takeaways in general consumer preference. So you can actually hire this out and pay good money to find great data. So third-party research, again, is prohibitively expensive to outsource, especially if you just do one-on-one. So if you hire a market research firm for your company to go out and do this research for you, it's prohibitive. So as a result, there's the companies that do market research offer what they call omnibus market research. You can basically link your questions that you have into those of other businesses. And the market research firm is already conducting surveys with large groups of participants. And what they'll do is they'll take questions from your company and questions from a lot of other people's companies, insert them into an overall survey, and put those out to their participants. And they do all the work for you in terms of lining up participants, making sure they're qualified to be kind of the target market. They'll do all that stuff for you, compile the data, and they'll just give it to you at the end. But the idea is, the survey is really only 1/9 yours or only 1/10 yours. If there are, 10 other companies participating, you get 1/11 of the data, in essence. But that's fine. You still get the answers that you're looking for. And this is a lot less expensive than just hiring out market research, you and the market research company. So it's one way to do it. Again, you can find this through greenbook.org. So that's sort of omnibus stuff. Once you have gathered a lot of this stuff, you need to use the data to some degree. Where the freeform answer from before is stuff that you can just sort of chew and digest yourself. A lot of this stuff is data that you're going to have to dig through. You have to go through a spreadsheet, clean this data up, compile it, make it into neat columns and neat rows so that you can really kind of use it for things. And this would be the same for SurveyMonkey or even the focus group. You can conduct multiple focus groups. Depending on how many one-on-one interviews you do, you might have a lot of data you want to clean up in a spreadsheet. You want to segment it down by demographic. You can do a quick organizational thing in an Excel spreadsheet, and everything will switch up so that you can see what all the men are saying. You can see what all the women are saying. You can divvy up data that way. You can make a list of your key insights, and this is something we suggest because if you make that list, you'll remember it better and you'll incorporate it more into your marketing strategy. So incorporate all this stuff into your strategy and you are on your way. So I just want to say thank you very much for participating in the web class today. I'll open this up to questions here. I'm sure there's quite a few. But I just want to say thank you. I use this slide at the end of all my presentations. You are the reason that I do what I do, the reason that greenbusinessowner.com exists. You're the change we want to see in the world, is what Gandhi says, and I appreciate everything that you guys are doing. I'm very grateful for your presence today. Thank you. And we look forward to continuing to serve you. So let's go ahead and start the questions. Steve, I think you've got the first question.